What's going on, YouTube? Few brands give you as many utility vehicle choices as Toyota, and one of the biggest internal rivalries is picking which Toyota is the ultimate family option.
The Toyota Sienna has long been the gold standard, but since then Toyota's added the Grand Highlander, and its family practicality as well as feature set has been stealing sales from the Sienna. So which is the ultimate family three-row Toyota? Let's dive in and find out.
Even though both these vehicles are quite large, that doesn't mean people don't still want efficiency and style. That's what's delivered with these testers we are using today. Equivalent upper mid-level trims that also have a bit of sport flair throughout. Sienna XSE and Grand Highlander Nightshade. If you're looking to buy either one, make sure to check out carconfections.com/newcarquotes to get the best price and access to invoice pricing information. Now jumping right in with the exteriors. These trims show that family vehicles don't have to be bland or boring. The Sienna's nickname has long been the Swagger Wagon, and the XSE gives you a large mesh grille and body kit. But if you're still concerned about the stigma of driving even a stylish minivan, the Grand Highlander has a tougher look to it, with plenty of blacked out elements as well. Looks are of course subjective, so we won't be scoring that, but we will hit all the individual features. The first of those features are the lights. While both models have full LED headlights and fog lamps as equipped, only the Grand Highlander uses a more premium projector LED headlight unit. We found them to have better overall performance at night. Moving to the sides, they are quite large, as both come in at over 200 inches long. Even still, the Sienna has about 2 inches of extra length over the GH, so be sure to measure your garage before bringing either one of them home. Accenting the designs are dark finished wheels, 20 inches on the Grand Highlander and 18 inches on the Sienna, since most versions cannot get the large option. Out back, the boxy yet sporty designs continue, with no exposed exhaust outlets on either trim. For features, they are very similar, with spoilers, exposed wipers, and blacked out branding. However, it's the Grand Highlander again with the lighting advantages, as its taillights are fully LED as compared to only the brake lights on the Sienna. As equipped, both can tow up to 3,500 pounds. When it comes to the mirrors, both have heating and blind spot monitoring, but only the Grand Highlander includes power folding as equipped. By the way, feel free to adjust the score along the way based on what's most important to you and your personal preferences. Ending the outside section, we have the very important element of safety. While both models have all 4 of your major active safety features as standard equipment, the Grand Highlander is utilizing the newer 3.0 suite versus version 2.0 on the Sienna. Neither of them have received a Top Safety Pick award this year from the IIHS. The Sienna has an advanced rear seat reminder that uses millimeter wave radar to detect breathing instead of a simple version based on opening the back doors for all other Toyotas. The differences continue to show themselves on the inside, so let's get into that. But first,
If you're new here, we're brothers and we've been reviewing cars since we were 12
and 16. We started young, and since then we've reviewed over 2,000 cars at every price point.
No matter what you're looking for, from our long-term vehicle videos to our side-by-side comparisons, we'd love for you to subscribe to be a part of our Car Confections family.
Let's learn a lot and have some fun with all the latest cars. Before hopping inside, let's look at the similar keys, where they both have smart entry systems with long-range remote start during the trial period. Opening up the doors, while the cabins look similar at first glance, there are actually a lot of detailed differences, starting with the seats. While the seats feel high quality, many buyers will prefer the real leather seats featured on the Grand Highlander Nightshade, while the Sienna XSE uses a Softex faux leather. The Grand Highlander will continue its advantages with ventilated and memory seats, in addition to the heating that they both share. However, the Sienna seats have 2 extra ways of adjustment with 4-way lumbar. Once inside, we can get into the overall materials and build quality, which will divide into 2 distinct categories. While neither will be winning any awards for premium cabins, They have good fit and finish from the same Indiana factory, and a solid selection of durable materials. There is soft touch plastic, leatherette, and piano black trim or matte black trim on the center consoles for the Sienna and Grand Highlander respectively. After startup, you'll see 12.3-inch digital gauge clusters on both, with lots of customization. Neither will have head-up displays on these trims. Moving back to the steering wheels, they are manually adjusted, but leather-wrapped on both. However, the Nightshade Grand Highlander adds heating and rain-sensing wipers for additional luxury here. Perhaps most important up front is the storage though, so let's talk about both the center consoles and the extra cubbies offered, where each has their certain advantages. Starting with our signature donut test, the Grand Highlander features a center console that fits the maximum of 24 donuts, which is larger than the 19 we could fit in the minivan. However, the Sienna makes up for that in terms of spaces beyond the console, with a larger shelf that spans most of the dash and a cavernous center pass-through. We'll give 1 point to each for these practical offerings. Now, despite all the storage, they both retain traditional shifters. And in reverse, you'll be greeted by another difference, since the GH has a 360-degree camera system as equipped, as compared to a lower quality standard camera on the van. Keep this in mind if you have a hard time keeping it between the parking lines. Above the shifters, we arrive at physical climate controls, with lots of adjustments. The Sienna is the more adjustable, with 4 zones of climate versus 3 in the GH. Let's also look at the physical volume knobs to sample the JBL sound systems. With only 1 speaker of difference between them, we'll call this category even. Finally, we land at the infotainment screens, where both are rocking a 12.3-inch display with Toyota Multimedia. The software is identical, with similar performance and wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto on board. Up top, both have auto-dimming rearview mirrors, but the GH also has a panoramic sunroof as compared to a regular size on the Sienna. The rear seats are arguably the most important part of this comparison, so let's dive right in with the second row specs. The specs are too close to score a point, falling below the 5% difference required to be meaningful. But that's only part of the story, as the Sienna's super long slide seats can slide up to 25 inches, offering nearly unlimited legroom if the third row is empty. For the rest of the features though, each has specific perks. While they share climate controls, vents, sunshades, and outlets, only the GH adds heated back seats as equipped. But the Sienna fights back with an entertainment system built in. Speaking of the seats, they both have captain's chairs as equipped, with bench seating also offered. Now let's move back to the third row, where entry is easy thanks to folding and sliding seats. When you consult the measurements, the Sienna dominates here with 38.7 inches of legroom, over 5 inches more than the Grand Highlander. While the Grand Highlander is far from small, the Sienna flexes as the space king in the third row. For features, they're similar, with cup holders, USBs, and reclining seats to stay comfortable. But the Sienna also throws in third row sunshades to keep even cooler. Now for the cargo spaces. Both have hands-free power tailgates, and once they open up, the versatility of minivan packaging continues to win the space race. It offers significantly more space behind the second and third rows, well over the 5% difference required to score a point. However, when you arrive at the maximum figures, the Grand Highlander catches up since the Sienna's rear seats cannot be removed in a simple manner. This also means that the GH will have a flat load floor in its max capacity, which can be very important for certain kinds of objects that you might be hauling. As far as features, they're both pretty slim, with manual folding seats for both rows. Spare tires are also offered. That's it for the interiors, so now let's take this fight to the streets. When it comes to what's under the hoods on both, they are the same, in this case at least. Today we have the Toyota hybrid systems with the 2.5-liter 4 cylinders and electric components to make about 245 horsepower. I said in this case because the Grand Highlander also offers a gas-only turbocharged engine option and a more powerful hybrid system, giving customers more choices than the Sienna, which is locked into this setup only. Nonetheless, with the same engines on deck in these, they have the same kind of performance when the rubber hits the road. Alright, that was an acceleration to 60 miles per hour. So like we talked about at the spec dump at the beginning, this is the conventional hybrid model. And what we've spent the most time with all of our other Grand Highlander testing has been with either the turbo engine, which is the standard option, or the Hybrid Max, which is their top spec model. This falls in between and is going to give you the best overall efficiency. Now, in terms of the specifications, this is a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder engine paired with your electric hybrid componentry. 243 horsepower is your overall power. Alright, we have achieved 60 miles per hour with the 2026 Sienna. Now, of course, when it comes to this model, we mentioned it at the beginning at the spec dump. It is hybrid only. It's been hybrid only for quite a number of years at this point. It's one of Toyota's first models to make that transition, and a lot of them have done it since then. And you know, that is one of the things that's always stood out about it as well. Now, in terms of the power figures, you have 245 horsepower from a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder engine with your electric motors all working in conjunction. Transmission-wise, they unsurprisingly share an eCVT and all-wheel drive systems as equipped. However, while both have all-wheel drive, one important factor for many crossover buyers is capability, where the Grand Highlander has 8 inches of ground clearance over the 6.3 in the van. This means the GH can tackle more obstacles off-road, and even clear the occasional curb. Now, the handoff between the electric power and the gasoline engine is very seamless. That being said, I have to mention that you can, of course, hear it. I'm sure it's picking up on the microphones right now. This is not going to be the most refined sounding option. I mean, overall, it's pretty smooth, like I was saying, but definitely the sound, I think, makes it seem a little bit more strained than it actually is. Now let's discuss both ride quality and handling characteristics. While handling is not the priority for most buyers in this space, the Grand Highlander will be the clear winner here, with more accurate steering and a more nimble feel on the back roads. But for the important ride quality discussion, both will be some of the smoothest riding options for this price point. Toyota knows you want to be comfortable, which is why they have made the suspension soft and the seats comfy for lots of road tripping. However, with the smaller wheels and even softer suspension setup, the Sienna will still be the one to beat.
We're on our designated strip of road to talk about ride quality, and that's an area that we've spent, hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of miles driving Grand Highlanders, and we've been very, very impressed. That is to say the least. This vehicle is one of those products that you can just get behind the wheel and just go on a long road trip and arrive refreshed. The seats are incredibly comfortable. The suspension is tuned honestly really, really good. They have tuned it to soak up all of the largest road imperfections. Hardly anything makes it into the cabin, including these bridge abutments here. Does a really good job. But it's a minivan. Let's talk about ride quality. This is pretty self-explanatory. You thought it would ride well, and it does indeed. This thing absolutely is one of the best riding vehicles that I've ever had the privilege of living with, without a doubt, especially because we have those smaller 18-inch wheels on the outside. I mean, when you hit a bump in the road, you just barely can feel anything. Also, these seats are really, really comfortable. So even compared to other very comfortable Toyotas like the Grand Highlander, I really feel like the Sienna is a step above, and you're going to just arrive completely comfortable regardless of how long your road trip is.
In addition to having comfy rides, let's talk about the noise levels in the cabins. Once again, they are neck and neck when it comes to being ridiculously quiet. They are both dancing around the 51 decibel mark, and the difference is less than the 1 decibel gap noticeable to the average adult. It'll be a very quiet tie here.
51.2 decibels is our sound level reading here in the Grand Highlander. Excellent. 51 decibels is what we are sitting at as our sound level reading here.
Finally, for fuel economy, the Sienna manages 1 mpg better, which is not enough to take the lead for the combined rating. But keep in mind the types of driving you'll do with each, as the GH hybrid has better city fuel economy, while the Sienna has better highway fuel economy, both greater than 5% different. Now, we won't be evaluating resale or reliability information from two vehicles from the same brand, but it is worth noting that they feature industry-leading historic reliability and resale averages. They'll also be protected by a 3-year 36,000-mile basic warranty and a 5-year 60,000-mile powertrain warranty, with 2 years of complimentary maintenance. Now let's talk about pricing. Despite not being top trim levels, these Toyota 3-row vehicles are unfortunately getting less and less affordable, as both models are above $50,000. The Grand Highlander makes you pay more for this sporty appearance package, and after options, it's creeping even closer to the $60K mark. Now let's account for the price discrepancy of $4,290. Using our scale, the Sienna earns plus 2 points for its price advantage.
So there you have it, the objective winner. Do you agree? Let's go over some reasons why you might pick each one, and then we'll tell you which ones we would put in each of our driveways. I'll start with the Sienna. Based on your personal preferences, if they involve lots more cargo capacity behind the second and third rows, it's going to be the better choice. Also, it has an excellent third row. You have extra back seat usability in terms of those sliding seats and the entertainment systems, and you have a lower price for most versions. Now, on the flip side, the Grand Highlander should be your choice if you're really wanting that SUV style. It does have a more rugged appearance. It also has more powertrain variation. So if you want a full gas option, a regular hybrid, or a powerful hybrid, you can get that in the Grand Highlander. And speaking of the areas where one is excelling over the other, we'd encourage you to check out carconfections.com/vehicle rankings. We've gone through numerous vehicle segments, minivans, 3-row midsize SUVs, and we've ranked them in individual categories. Things like cargo, interior luxury, technology, powertrain choices, and value. And you can sort the list depending on the category that is most important to you to really make an informed buying decision. These are very competitive segments, so you do yourself a favor and go to our website, carconfections.com/vehicle rankings. But which would we put in our driveways?
I would pick the Grand Highlander. I do like the boxier design a little bit better. I also prefer the extra powertrain option, specifically the Hybrid Max. I think the Sienna actually could benefit from maybe offering that in the future for those who want to be able to move the bigger vehicle with a little bit more haste.
Yeah, I would agree with that. In my current phase of life, I think I'd take the Grand Highlander, although if I have more, I only have one kid. If I had more kids, the Sienna is by far the better family choice, and it also saves a little bit of money, so I'd probably flip to the Sienna in that case. But we want to know which one you would take down below. Let us know in the comments section, and if you're looking to buy either one or any vehicle, we'd encourage you to check out carconfections.com/newcarquotes. Also, the reason you should do that is because we have a tool on our website that'll connect you with local car dealers in your area to get you the best price. It's also going to give you access to invoice pricing information, which is a great tool to use if you plan on doing dealership negotiation. You can find a link to that in our video description, as well as a pinned comment at the top of this video. And guys, that's going to be where we wrap up this comparison. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, we'd appreciate you subscribing down below and becoming a part of our Car Confections family. We'd love to welcome you in. And if you're already part of our family, thank you so much for your continued support. We'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.